If you are a DevOps engineer or an infrastructure consultant and haven't used ChatGPT so far, this video is for you. Or if you have used it, I'm sure there's something in this video which you can take away. I'm getting started with one of my video from course wherein I'm showing you how to instruct ChatGPT. Now ChatGPT is consist of many things. We're going to use the 4 version, ChatGPT version 4, wherein I'm going to show you how you can instruct ChatGPT and generate and make ChatGPT do whatever you want to do. We're going to do a bunch of troubleshooting as well. We're going to get started very simple. We're going to ask ChatGPT how to deploy an application, a Python application, and it's going to instruct us what all we can do with that application. How do you deploy it? So as a fresher or a DevOps engineer, you don't even know how and what to do with your application. So in this one, we're going to instruct ChatGPT that as a DevOps engineer, tell me what to do with this application. When do you deploy on S3, whether you want to deploy on EKS or ECS. So we're creating a Docker file and doing a bunch of cool things. And that's what I am kind of taking you through, how to use ChatGPT when you are into world of DevOps. This is just a part one of the video, but there is an entire course which I have created, and we've used things like plugins, creating architecture diagram, generating PDF, text, Excel sheets, notebooks, whatnot using plugin. So I'm pretty excited to kickstart and show you what I have got in this video, wherein you gonna get started with a very basic generation of a Docker file for your Python application in ChatGPT. I'm pretty excited, and I'll see you in the demo. Thank you. Right, welcome back. In the previous one, we got started and we ran the Docker container onto our local system, and we were able to access our mkdocs application locally. We made a quick change in our app as well, and that was quickly populated into our browser as well. What next? Now this was local. All right, now local development is fine. Now you want to move forward, and as a DevOps engineer, the first thing which you really need to do is figure out how to deploy your application, the application which is created by developers, to some sort of infrastructure. Let's suppose we want to deploy this mkdocs application into an AWS infrastructure. Let's suppose we don't know how to do it. We don't know where to deploy it. Let's ask ChatGPT. This is fine. Deploy it on my local. Now I want to mention that as a DevOps engineer, I have been asked to deploy this into AWS infrastructure. Give me the options. Give me the options wherein I can deploy this app from local to AWS infra. So let's let the ChatGPT help us with all sort of information. Let's see what ChatGPT gives us when it comes to what are the options we have when it comes to deploying the infrastructure. So first one is ECS, Elastic Container Service. We're just assuming we don't know that, all right? And it's going to tell us, okay, this is how you could do it. The steps which you need to do it: push your Docker image to an ECR, then create a cluster, then create the task definition. Too much of work. AWS Fargate is another option. Then EKS, Elastic Kubernetes Service, is another option. I think steps remain same. Push your Docker image to a container, then Elastic Container Registry, then accessible from EKS, create or use an existing EKS. Again, a lot of work. AWS Elastic Beanstalk, and then EC2 as well, a virtual machine with Docker installed in it. You could use light container as well, light sail container as well. Okay, let's say all of these option looks complex for me. Can you tell me something simpler to deploy mkdocs on? Let's say what ChatGPT gives us. Okay, this is a valid question that, okay, if you're looking for a simpler way to deploy your mkdocs without dealing with the containers or orchestration, let's not go onto containers directly. It has given us an option. The option is using the S3 bucket, simple storage S3 bucket, wherein we could start deploying our application. What are the steps? Steps to deploy the mkdocs on AWS S3 is build, use the mkdocs build, and then upload the files to S3 bucket, and then the bucket policy. Let's go one by one. Let's ask it how to create a bucket. Okay, let's go slow. Tell me how to create the bucket using Terraform. Now, as a DevOps engineer or infrastructure engineer, you got to make sure that you use some sort of infrastructure as a code tool. Now, could be Terraform, could be Pulumi, could be CloudFormation, which is the native tool from AWS. We're going to use Terraform, and we're going to ask that how to create the bucket using Terraform. Make sure you give me the complete code and all the necessary dependency with it, because I don't want to put my own knowledge, rather want you to create the bucket for me using Terraform. Perfect. I don't care about the spell checks or spell errors, because I've generally seen ChatGPT to be intelligent enough to kind of autocomplete, autocorrect internally and give us the right result which we want. Terraform script to create S3 bucket. It's giving us the link as well. You can download it from here as well. So if I just click on the link, it's gonna take me to the repo which it is downloading from. So as you can see, you can download the Terraform binary from here. It has given us the link also, that as a newbie, it kind of understand that okay, I might not know everything. So it has told me to how to install the Terraform first, and then create a file which is main.tf, and then giving us the code. Okay, and then it is giving us the steps to deploy it. I want it to color code the Terraform code as well. Could you color code the Terraform code as well? So looks quite bland at the moment. All right, so I'm gonna ask ChatGPT to color code it, and as you can see, it is trying to probably give a syntax highlighting. Maybe it's not working, I'm not sure. I'm just gonna let it complete, but you can ask ChatGPT to color code as well. All right, okay, doesn't look like it has color coded anything. Okay, I'm asking it to again check whether it has really color coded it or not. Now it's gonna say apologies for the confusion, why I can't apply color coding directly in the text based format. Okay, this is something ChatGPT cannot do. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick up this code, and we're gonna go to our browser, or rather IntelliJ, and we're gonna say not module. We're gonna create a brand new folder. So I could just create it from here as well. mkdi Terraform ChatGPT. All right, this should have a brand new folder, and then file would be main.tf, and I'm gonna paste the code. All right, so it's analyzing the code. Ideally my IntelliJ should just be detecting what is the code and suggest me auto completion as well. All right, so I'm just going to let it analyze. Okay, the background, what I've just done is I've reinitialized my plugin. So you could, if you're using IntelliJ, you could go to the preference and start the upgradation as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just restart my IDE so that picks up all the changes. As you can see that it is going to install the plugin now, and that's what I am going to do now. All right, as you can see now the color coding is done beautifully. Copilot is not done, I don't care about it, but my Terraform file is now highlighted, and all of my code is now well highlighted. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask so it asks us to change bunch of things. It is making the comments as well that change it basis on your region, and then change the bucket name as well. So I'm gonna say my mkdocs bucket is completely fine, and then public read bunch of information. Then index document is this one. I'm gonna ask bunch of information to ChatGPT. Okay, I'm gonna come back over here. Okay, I'm gonna ask, is this your final version of Terraform? Do you want any changes? Would you like to also handle the Terraform output so that I get the bucket name and other info? All right, let's see how it kind of, so you got to converse a lot, and more you converse, better you also get, and better ChatGPT also gets in order to answer you as well. As you can see, certainly I can add output block as well in Terraform script to display the bucket name and its website endpoint as well. Okay, so now it's going to give me the endpoint as well, the bucket name and the endpoint both. Let's just copy this one, come back to our Terraform code, and we just gonna paste it. All right, perfect. Okay, I want to ask what is this index.html? What is this index.html? I don't have this file. And I'm gonna say, and you know the mkdoc structure as well, right? So how would the bucket pick up my mkdocs folder or file? All right, perfect. Now it's gonna understand, it's gonna read the previous information as well. You're correct, and I apologize for the oversight. You're going to tell ChatGPT a lot that this is what I want, this is what I don't want, and it's gonna keep on. It remembers the previous conversation. The mkdocs conversation was the previous conversation as well, right? Okay. Okay, forget it for now. I am going to focus on just creating the bucket and handle the uploading of mkdocs files and folder later. However, could you make sure that the bucket you are creating has handled everything around permission and policy or whatever is needed to access the app? Okay, so the prompts are really important, and I just can't repeat more that the more you make the prompts, the more you converse with ChatGPT, it gets better. So let's see what ChatGPT has given us. Certainly, the Terraform script I provided earlier includes setting to make the ACL bucket readable to enable static information. It is telling us what the earlier code has. If you're focusing on just creating the bucket for now, running Terraform apply with the script will help. All right. So now I hope you have got your Terraform installed. So what I'm going to do is we're going to cd into our Terraform folder, and I'm going to do a Terraform init. It has already been mentioned by ChatGPT as well. So now it's going to initialize, but as soon as I do the plan, it should fail because it just doesn't have any credential. So you need to make sure that your Terraform and your AWS account authenticate with each other. I already have got my AWS account created. You could use a trial one, and I've got my Terraform installed as well. So while this is doing, I'm going to say, okay, I ran Terraform init, but you did not mention anything about the authentication between Terraform and AWS. How do we handle that? Okay, now ChatGPT is going to tell us that what are the different ways of authentication between Terraform and AWS. As you can see, you're correct, and I apologize for missing that critical step. So you go to converse a lot, and this is one of the way that you could export your access key and secret key as well. And the another way is using the AWS configure as well. I'm going to use this one because this is fairly quick. So let's say, okay, I am going to use the first option. However, how to get those secret keys? So it's going to tell me that how you could get the access key and secret key as well. So I'm just going to copy these command, export access key and secret key, and it's going to tell us that sign into the AWS console, navigate to IAM, create a new user, set permission full, and review. You could either follow it, or if you're logged in using the root access, which I'm guessing if you just created a brand new account, you would have a root access as well. Alright, so I'm just going to check whether, okay, it is now able to run the initialization successfully. Now I'm going to run the Terraform plan as mentioned by ChatGPT previously. So this should just fail and should just tell us that whether the syntax is right or not, and then it will fail with authentication error that there is no authentication between. Alright, so the self bucket is not available for this content. So we're just going to copy this one and give it to ChatGPT. Okay, this is fine, but I'm getting below. Could you please double check and handle all the potential error? Okay, so I'm telling now ChatGPT to not only resolve this, but also to handle any potential errors or potential mistakes which it might have just created. So it says, I apologize for the oversight in Terraform. Self.attribute reference is only valid within provisions and connection block. To reference the bucket, you should use the S3 bucket.imk doc. So I'm just gonna copy this particular path and just gonna come back over here and then just gonna paste it. Alright, so now it looks good, no error, no red flags. Just gonna hit enter, and if there are no syntax error, this should just tell us that okay, all is fine, the validation and everything is fine. You would have authentication as well. All right, as expected, it failed to refresh the credential. No credential or it was found. No information about the credential was found. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the AWS console now, and I am gonna, what is my region? My region is, I could use any of the region, by the way. So but for now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to security credential. Before this, I'm going to go to the ChatGPT and copy those access key and secret key command. So I'm going to come back over here. For now, I'm just going to paste it right over here. I'm going to replace it now. I'm going to go to the console. As soon as you go to the console, these are global. This is a global console, so it doesn't matter which region you are in terms of credential. And as you can see, you could create your access key right from here. This is not one of the best way, one of the appropriate way, because this gives you the root credential. But for now, for testing, it's completely fine. All right, I'm just going to copy the access key and I'm going to copy the secret key. Don't worry if you even see the secret key. I'm just going to wipe it out any which ways after the session. Just going to copy this one. I'm going to paste it, hit enter, and this should be fine. Now if I do the Terraform plan again, this time it should be successful. Okay, it's creating an US West 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to change it to US West 2 probably. All right, that is completely fine. We're going to move away from here. All right, and then we're going to select the region we want. We could either select the US or Asia Pacific, whatever you. So I'm going to select US East 1. I'm going to go to the S3 bucket, and as you can see, that configuration for bucket may not be referred to itself. Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna copy this one. Before this, I'm gonna change it to, all right, change it to what? US East 1. All right, I'm just gonna copy this one, US East 1. You know what? I'm just gonna create it in US West 2 looks fine to me. So I'm just gonna change the value right from here. Alright, so I'm just gonna change the value from here to US West 2, which is in my code. I'm gonna pick up the code. I'm gonna go to ChatGPT and I'm gonna say, okay, I'm getting an error again. Okay, I'm getting an error again. This is my Terraform code and below is the error. So I'm just going to copy this error right from here. Okay, there's one more error. So self credential block. Just going to copy this one and going to paste it to my ChatGPT console and let ChatGPT understand and debug it for us. So there are two errors. Let's see how. I apologize for the inconvenience. These sometimes gets really irritating because ChatGPT kind of keeps on repeating itself that I apologize for the inconvenience. Saying that the issue because the bucket policy is trying to reference the bucket itself, which isn't allowed. We can work around this by using an S3 policy, and this is how it works. So, I mean, everybody says that it's really easy to use ChatGPT, but ChatGPT needs a right set of information to handle these errors as well. The more better your probe is, the response gets really better. So I'm going to copy the code for now. But I'm also going to ask why this code was I'm going to ask, this code was generated by you. How did you miss to add the policy? Okay, while ChatGPT gives us the response, I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to post whatever content has been given. So I'm going to go through it again using the AWS provider, using the bucket. Alright, and then website, and then policy, which is getting attached to this particular bucket. Okay, let's see. I apologize for the oversight. Creating Terraform script can be sometimes involve intricacies and all of those chain responses. That's fine. I'm gonna hit the Terraform plan again and see if it kind of gives us the error or helps us to run the code. So it's not easy to straight away pick up the code because you need to understand as well. You need to understand this code. What it does, it is creating the S3 bucket first, give us bunch of rules, and then creating the policy. All right, bingo. The plan is now successful. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit on apply, and this is gonna ask me whether yes or no. While this is being done, we're gonna go to the our region and go to S3 to check whether the bucket whenever the bucket is created, we're going to come back and check whether the bucket is created or not. While this gets again loaded, we just need to make sure that there are no buckets with the same name, just in case. All right, so these are the 4 buckets. We don't have any other buckets. All right, so now it should just plan it, and for the apply, it's going to ask us whether you are sure to apply or not. I'm going to hit on yes. I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to hit enter, and this should start creating buckets for us. This is going to take few seconds, few minutes. All right, bucket, we have got an error. Bucket cannot have ACLs with object ownership. All right, let's go back and pick up this one and give it to the ChatGPT again. I'm getting error again. Make sure you handle it and other potential error as well, as this is kind of waste of my time doing troubleshooting again. So you kind of a little angry and telling it to ChatGPT to make sure that you not only handle this one, you handle a bunch of other potential error which you kind of figure out. So it's going to say apologize for the inconvenience. The issue you're expecting is because ACL is public read setting and default object ownership setting. AWS has updated their S3 policy to be more. I think this was done recently, and ChatGPT might not have that information available. So as you can see, it has mentioned that AWS has updated their S3 policy to be more secure by default, so we can't straight away go ahead and change it. All right, so removed the, so it also told us what did it do.
It removed the ACL public read from S3 source, added a new block to explicitly allow access, and kept the policy as it is. Alright, I'm just gonna copy this one. I'm just gonna paste it, and now I'm gonna say apply it again and wait for any potential error again. So this is how it is. It gives you the idea is it gives you the starter code or the boilerplate code real quick. You don't have to spend time on writing the bucket, figuring out how to create the policy. At least it tells you that, okay, this is all you need. It is not going to make you champion, but at least it tells you, okay, in order to host your static website, you need a bucket, you need a policy, you need a bucket policy access ID as well, and then a policy which can read your bucket with this principal and effect allow. So it kind of gives you that starter wherein you're not blocked completely. You can start doing things at least, even if you don't understand. As you can see, the bucket has been now created, 3 added, 0 change, 0 destroy. We're going to go back to the S3 console. I'm going to hit on refresh and wait for it if it has been created. All right, it's been created few seconds back, completely empty. Access is public, which is like which is a red flag for AWS, but that's completely fine for our session for the sake of our understanding. All right, you were just able to create your S3 bucket. You not only did it, you understood how to troubleshoot it as well, and we're gonna use these skill sets in our upcoming session as well, and I'll encourage you to use these skill set in your existing project as well. I hope this was super informative. We just created our first AWS infrastructure. Maybe it was very simple, but we created it, and this is just a beginning of the entire ecosystem which we're gonna build. All right, I hope this was informative. I'll see you in a while. Thank you.